Hi everyone, welcome to Tech News Curator. This is Julian Ho. This week, the world's leading foundry company, TSMC, had a personnel shocker when its chairman, Mark Liu, announced that he would officially retire after the 2024 shareholders meeting, and the outside world believes that the current president, C.C. Wei, will take over the chairmanship of the board of directors. AI continues to be the hottest topic in the technology industry in recent years. In addition to the attention paid to the advanced manufacturing process and advanced packaging of high-performance computing, HPC chips, high-bandwidth memory, HBM, is also an indispensable key component. So what kind of layout is being developed by the first-tier memory manufacturers? In the previous program, we have also discussed that semiconductor autonomy in mainland China will be developed around mature processes. Recently, it has been rumored that local Chinese companies will have a chance to share TSMC's CMOS sensor wafer foundry orders. What is the analysis? Tech News Curator will highlight the key events of the week for you and organize the industry news that you should not miss in the technology industry. On December 19th, TSMC suddenly announced that Chairman Mark Liu will retire after the 2024 shareholders meeting, and TSMC internally recommended Vice Chairman and President C.C. Wei to take over as the next chairman of the board of directors. This news has caused a shock, but it seems to be not that surprising to the supply chain and insiders. How so? According to DIGITIMES, a number of supply chain insiders revealed that the power transfer was related to Mark Liu's decision to set up a plant in the US in 2020, which triggered issues such as soaring costs, labor union protests, and the US government's commitment to subsidize the plant. Since TSMC's move to the US and the establishment of the new Arizona plant, there have been skepticism from the outside world, and Mark Liu, who is the chairman of the board of directors, is naturally facing heavy pressure. It seems reasonable to assume that Liu will retire after the 2024 shareholders meeting when Liu is 70 years old. In the meantime, there have been a lot of speculations, including the rumored power struggles or the dual chairman system of chairman and president implemented by the founder Morris Chang, which has made the cooperation between the two not as close as expected. At present, the supply chain industry mostly speculates that it is a foregone conclusion that C.C. Wei will take over the chairmanship of the board of directors, and what everyone is mostly concerned is who will take over the position of president, who is in charge of dealing with customers, as the next step. Currently, it is rumored that the senior vice president of the Operations and Overseas Operations Office, YP, Chin, may take over the position, but the industry has also rumored that Chin himself has no intention of and hopes to be succeeded by a younger generation, which has caused a lot of concern about the personnel layout of TSMC for the year 2024. The company's business performance has been outstanding since the Mark Liu took over the chairmanship and C.C. Wei took presidency of the board of directors, and it has been completely in line with the script of TSMC's miracle has definitely not stopped, which was said by Morris Chang when he retired. 2013, Morris Chang announced that he would adopt the co-executive officer system, and the then cooperative chief operating officer Mark Liu and C.C. Wei would be promoted to the position of CEO simultaneously. In 2017, he announced that he would retire after the shareholders meeting in June 2018, and that he would hand over the charge for a second time, with Mark Liu as chairman and C.C. Wei as president. Liu and Wei together have experienced the co-chief operation and then the parallel system of dual heads, performance year by year, and also jointly dealt with a number of crises, including the computer system virus infection incident in August 2018, the use of non-regulated photoresist in the 14B plant of Southern Taiwan Science Park in 2019, resulting in wafer defects and loss of accidents. There are also larger crises such as the US-China trade war, Huawei's ban, and the epidemic, but under the joint leadership of the two, TSMC was able to quickly return to its senses. And purely based on the results, TSMC's dual chief executive system can be described as a successful example of corporate succession. Morris Chang has publicly pointed out that the division of labor between C.C. Wei and Mark Liu, with Mark Liu representing external communication with governments, and C.C. Wei being responsible for business, customers, and the supply chain. With trade wars, epidemics, and other variables, TSMC has become a geopolitically competitive place, as predicted by Mr. Chang. TSMC was faced with invitations from the US, Europe, and Japan to build factories, and Mark Liu, who was in charge of external relations, had to make decisions. First, Liu kept reiterating that he had no short-term plans to build a plant, and that the key was the cost. He also had to confirm the level of subsidies and support from the local governments. In the end, after Morris Chang and other parties did not look favorably on the project, Liu announced his plan to build a plant in the United States. The new US plant has been the subject of many controversies, including Intel's protests against unfair subsidies, labor shortages, soaring costs, and the uncertainty of government agencies. The future of the German plant is equally worrisome, and it has been speculated that Mark Liu's retirement is a sign that he needs to step down in order to take the blame for the overseas expansion. Although it has been said that Mark Liu is approaching 70 and should take a break, C.C. Wei is in fact 1 year older than Mark Liu, so the idea of taking a break doesn't make sense. They both reached the age of 70 in 2024, and the community is concerned about the succession plan for TSMC's middle-aged generation, which currently includes Yinglang Wang, T.S. Chang, and Y.W. Liao, etc. The supply chain believes that the future of TSMC is equally worrying. As TSMC's succession list has not been finalized, everyone has a chance, but no one has a chance to take advantage of it. The middle-aged generation is approaching 60 years old, and it is currently believed that localist Yinglang Wang has a good chance. Wang graduated from National Tsinghua University with a degree in physics, a master's degree from the Sun Yat-sen Institute of Materials Science, and a doctorate in electrical engineering from Chiao Tong University. Wang was once the youngest vice president of TSMC and had previously volunteered to serve as CEO and general manager of the US plant, and at that time, it was rumored that he was interested in strengthening his international experiences for preparing taking over the power in the future. As for whether Mark Liu's retirement will have any impact on the company's operations, the supply chain believes that the impact should not be significant. C.C. Wei has been responsible for managing orders and customers, and the only question that remains is the succession list, as long as the right people are placed in the right positions, and how to deal with the construction of factories in the US and Germany. TSMC, the leading foundry company, has been a major player in the global semiconductor industry. However, although TSMC almost dominates in advanced processes, mature processes will become a new battleground for all the players to emerge and fight for. We have seen that CMOS image sensors using mature processes have gone through the cycle. Starting from the third quarter of this year, new smartphone products have come on the market, which has led to a rebound in demand for cell phone CIS chips, and security control CIS has also shown signs of recovery, and a new cycle of price increases is expected to begin. As a result, orders for CIS chips, modules, and upstream foundry are expected to rebound in the first half of 2024. Among the world's three largest cell phone CIS manufacturers, Sony and Samsung Electronics, partially commissioned by the foundry production, China's Wilsemi's OmniVision, is largely dependent on TSMC foundry. However, it has recently been rumored that China's semiconductor autonomy continues to advance. OmniVision already has some CIS for independently mass production. It is speculated that it is likely done by the Wilsemi self-invested Chinese wafer fabs. Even for TSMC, the mature process is equally important, but in recent years, Chinese fabs have entered the market, which has put a lot of pressure on TSMC's China plants. TSMC's Shanghai 8-inch fab has a monthly production capacity of about 140 wafers, and its Nanjing fab planned to expand its 28nm process capacity 2 years ago, adding a lot of mature process capacity to meet local customer demand. However, TSMC's mature processes are beginning to be challenged by China's mature process-based foundries, including SMIC, Nextchip, and the up-and-coming Rongsemi, which are catching up with TSMC. Nextchip expects to further expand its monthly production capacity to over 10 wafers, and has already succeeded in snagging CIS orders from SmartSense Technology, which is a growing partnership. In the past, SmartSense Technology has been one of the major customers of TSMC and SMIC for mature manufacturing processes. The latecomer, Rongsemi, also focuses on the production of CIS, display driver ICs, DDI, and power management ICs, PMIC, and other foundry services. According to CEO Pai Peng, China's demand for locally manufactured chips continues to grow, and many Chinese IC manufacturers originally sought foundry services from overseas foundries for their mature process chips. But China's foundries continue to upgrade mature technologies such as CIS and BCD power supplies, which has attracted a lot of Chinese IC designers back to the country. Currently, Rongsemi has a 12-inch wafer fab in Ningbo, with investors including Innochip, Ingenic, Meituan, Yuanhe Puhua, and Sequoia Capital, and will continue to expand its production capacity through financing. Through one of its investors, Wilsemi, Rongsemi, has entered into a partnership with OmniVision, a subsidiary of Wilsemi, to ensure a stable shipment volume in the future. Pang disclosed that the Ningbo plant will later be used for more advanced logic processes such as 40nm and 28nm. Bai Peng believes that in China's bottleneck of advanced process development is becoming obvious, the importance of the characteristics of the process is gradually increasing. China-based characteristics of the process, 40, 180 nm, to continue to promote the localization of equipment and materials, and strategic customers to deepen the bonding. CIS is mainly used in 22, 19nm process, which is the strength of China's wafer fab. According to market research organizations, by the end of 2024, China aims to establish 32 large-scale wafer fabs, and all will focus on mature, specialty processes. The year 2024 is fast approaching, and AI is still the hottest topic in the technology industry. High-bandwidth memory, HBM, has become a key component for heterogeneous integration with HPC chips, and has also become a new hope for first-tier memory manufacturers. After going through the boom cycle, we also talked about the stabilization of memory prices in the previous program. Now, memory manufacturers are looking at HBM as an opportunity to get rid of operating losses, with SK Hynix, Samsung Electronics, and Micron entering the sampling validation phase of their latest development, HBM3E. The memory industry indicates that the biggest bottleneck in the development of HBM is the increase in the number of stacked layers, which will face the problems of heat dissipation and power consumption, and therefore, advanced packaging will become the key to win in the end. DIGITIMES exclusively conducted in-depth interviews with South Korea's semiconductor industry, and we have also found out that, although various memory original manufacturers have made HBM a key focus of their capital expenditure and expansion of production in 2024, NVIDIA and AMD have made HBM a key focus for the industry in the past few years. NVIDIA and AMD are two major customers locked in the AI battle, and cloud center operators have also invested in the development of self-research AI chips. The trend of HBM supply exceeding demand is expected to continue in 2027. In the future, HBM design will follow the different specifications and requirements of each customer and move towards a customized production model, gradually getting rid of the standardized characteristics of the DRAM industry. Among them, SK Hynix mass production of HBM to seize the opportunity. from HBM3, 4th generation, into the 12-layer stack, recently also rumored that SK Hynix 2024 HBM3, HBM3E, 5th generation production capacity have been sold out. Samsung is also not willing to show its weakness, planning for 2024 HBM supply will be more than 5 times that of 2023. It is expected that by the first half of 2024, HBM3 sales will account for more than half of the overall HBM sales. Although Micron invested in HBM relatively late, but has turned around with HBM3E new products, is expected to enter mass production in the first quarter of 2024. The research and development will be in Hiroshima, with Taiwan as the advanced packaging town. The market is expected to HBM demands in the next 5 years will show a high growth rate of 60, while 80%. But in order to achieve the best profits, entering the highest-end AI GPU suppliers will be the priority. The industry believes that the HBM challenge will be to move towards a higher stacking technology. Starting from the early 4-layer jump, the number of HBM3 stacking layers of major manufacturers has reached 12 layers, and will move towards 16-layer stacking in 2026, and gradually develop to 20-layer design in the future. Thank you for watching this week's Tech News Curator. Tech News Curator will be aired exclusively on the DIGITIMES YouTube channel every Wednesday at 9:00 a.m. EST. So please like, subscribe, and turn on the little bell to be notified of our updates as soon as they happen. See you next week.